Yep. So you'll notice that even though the resolution is much lower, her motion and her audio will always be matched up. We don't allow the audio and video to get out of sync, and we don't try and drop video frames ever, because even if you lose detail, the motion and matching with the audio is what makes the human experience.
So let me relate it to another technology. How many of you in here have ever sat in an audio conference call on where you're using an old analog telephone and you're trying to distinguish who it is? And you actually do this. You lean in to hear who it is, right? And after 45 minutes of doing that, you leave the call and you're like, wow, how long were we in there? 45 minutes felt like 2 hours. You're fatigued. The reason you're fatigued is because you're training energy on trying to follow the voices that on that call. The same thing is true with video. If we had really bad latency and Lindsay was, a stick person moving around oddly, it just destroys the effect, right? And you just get eye fatigue from watching that. So this is what makes video low latency, is what eliminates that participant fatigue that you would get from a really bad quality call.
The Venetian blinds look good too.
It's not backlit. So what system is pointed out in the window now? What's the last IP address of that?
So .14 and .7, but I'm trying to get into them.
Yeah,
I've been trying to get into the call manager and hanging up on the people that are there, but they keep on calling right back in. So I've asked Kevin to block them if he can.
So let me see if I can add one real quick. What is it, .14 and .7?
Try .7 right now.
Okay.
And Lindsay is using which system? She's also on the
What are you using there today, Lindsay?
I'm on a room 220, so my
it's one of our
endpoint
higher end products. .7. Okay.
Okay, Kevin just said that both have been cleared.
All right.
So
I'm going to call .7 at a megabit to show you something else. So I'm going to keep Lindsay at a low speed when I'm going to call this other system at a higher speed. If
it will answer.
If MMS will let us out.
Hey, Lindsay, you still there?
I'm still here. Mm-hmm.
You sure no one's in .7? It's kind of hanging on us.
I think it's the network here, right?
Oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. You can try .14, Rick. See if that works.
Okay.
It's always interesting to see what a fan does for video frame rates. And you just have a fan running in the background.
Sometimes we even tell people to put motion things on their desk just to show off.
We're not having success, Lindsay, so what I want you to do is add...
I'll bring someone in. Yep, I'll bring it in.
Well, keep in mind it'll have her bandwidth already. So I can give you another demo site if you want to get a whole list of them here.
That's okay. Okay. Let's play with this for a minute.
All right.
I don't know how much... I got about 2 minutes, and then I'll let you guys go. Now, we can't see that infrared light with our naked eye, but we can see it through our camera when she's using her remote there.
Does Wolfgang Puck pay y'all for a plug?
You should.
Well, you know what? And I told Lindsay this the other day. She didn't know what married.
Yeah. No, I do know what I do know what it means. You know what, Rick? I took this down after that demo, and then I was bringing it up once I knew that the crowd had a sense of humor. And I just forgot to take it down again. I was like,
that's okay. We're fine with it. It kind of looks like Mardi Gras.
No, I thought it was funny that the person who decorated the office didn't know what it meant.
Notice the Office Space stapler. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Nice. Blue.
I'm going to bring in London, right, because our New York sites aren't working.
Okay. London didn't answer me earlier, so.
Let's see.
If you want, you can do Oslo. Nobody ever dials into that one, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Looks over fjord there.
All right, let's call Oslo then.
All right.
What's that IP address?
We did 195. 81 147 1. I like Bangalore too because nobody does it.
Yeah, nobody dials Bangalore.
Yeah. I think it's
Because
always
they're
nighttime in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Every time I call there, it's dark.
Give us media.
Come on.
Is this the only microphone in this room for this system?
It is.
Oh, it is night.
Well, it is night in Oslo now.
Oh, cool.
That really is Oslo, Norway.
If you pan around, you should be able to see boats in the harbor and things like that. It's sitting right on the main shipping location where they make all the cruise ships and things like that.
Who owns that camera?
We actually have an Oslo office where some of our development is done on transit and things like that. So you're looking over the main shipping terminal in Oslo.
Wow.
Hey Rick, I actually have to drop off. I have another demo.
See you later.
But it was nice to meet everybody. If you need me in a half an hour, you can call back.
Sure thing. Thanks.
Okay? All right. Bye, everybody.
All right, thanks, Lindsay.
So one of the other things about the call, even though it's kind of hard to see with Oslo there, the other thing that we were doing is Lindsay was talking to us at a lower speed than Oslo is. So one of the unique things that LifeSize is able to do is accommodate that. So what does that mean to you? That means if I have to talk to somebody that has an old system, maybe it's not LifeSize, and all they can do is a slow speed, we can talk to them. But if my other partner has a LifeSize or another high definition system, I can keep both calls going at the same time in the same call. Everybody performs to the best of their capabilities. So
That's amazing. For a nighttime shot.
Not too bad.
that's
for
our
a nighttime
10x
show.
camera, which is on the wall.
The
over
water
there.
reflecting.
Yeah, isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Wish we had called about an hour ago. It was probably sunset.
Yeah, it looks like it just went down over there. But if you look at like cars moving and things like that, you see the motion is still very fluid, and this is coming out of kind of a strained network connection over there, so it's pretty impressive. that
So
that's-
one thing about traffic moving, just so that you mentioned that technically, and this goes back to our superior design, don't get upset when I use this technical term, but it's called macro block processing. And LifeSize processes 100% of the macro blocks in this image. What does that mean? That means that those cars, as they're moving, are moving from the full screen left to right or right to left, whatever direction they're going, and you're not seeing them suddenly appear, where macro blocks are little 16 pixel blocks that image is made up of. And what other manufacturers do is they process a certain area of macro blocks. So where the primary motion is, they don't process all of the macro blocks in the perimeter. So guess what? I have an area that's okay, face shot, but everything else that might be going on is not encoded and sent over.
So we don't cheat, is what he's
We
trying
don't
to say.
cheat. So that's why you're seeing this nice fluid motion from the full side of the display, from one side to the other side.
As far as getting this audio to these room ceiling speakers, how is that done?
Well, on the back of the system that's actually doing this, we'll use the Passport as an example here. You can see there are a couple of colored connectors, right? One's red, one's green, one's input, one's output. The output is simply a 3.5 millimeter mini jack. So I'm just running a cable out and converting it into two RCA connections, or running it to a mini jack input that's in an amplifier, and connected to that amplifier are these speakers.
So it's not out of here per se, it goes to the codec, if you will.
Right. And so that's what we mean when we say integrate. When I say integration, this is integration, these speakers. We could use that speakerphone as our primary audio output if we wanted to do that.
Is there any way to hook up additional microphones besides just this one?
There's two answers to that. One is sort of a product future that yes, we will have what we call spider microphones that will come off of that speakerphone and extend. In general, what you're talking about, there's a good guy right behind us over here with Revo Labs. They make microphones, and you would use a third-party microphone set that might be wireless, might be wired, might be in the ceiling, might be on my lapel, might be that each one of us sitting in this table, in this room, has our own little, microphone in front of us. So that again is an integration question. And that's where a firm like MMS can design a custom solution based on your room to those kinds of things. So I don't want to use that speakerphone. All right, we're not really offended by that, but we think it's a good phone. You want to use microphones. That's great. MMS can integrate those with our codec, put it in a rack behind the wall, and have all of the things like we have in this room. That microphone, however, or that speakerphone, has a really good range, up to 15 feet in any direction. And we're using a technology in it. That's the reason I had Patrick talk over me, called beamforming. And what beamforming is kind of like sonar. That is, it's identifying all of the sources of noise in the room, and those that are white noise, like that return, it will lock onto that constant source of white noise and manage it out of the call, so my voice is not eclipsed by that background noise. You've all been in a meeting where somebody's brought in sandwiches and we're trying to have a phone conversation and people are rolling paper out and what did they say, and audio gets clipped, and that's what we try to eliminate with that.
I guess that kind of goes with the chatterbox and stuff, right? Just stuff
Yeah,
facing
right.
out also.
Exactly. Or this guy,
My chair.
yeah, or your chair. Well, we'd get that because it's not constant.
Yeah. Is that technology going to be available for all recording formats?
Well, I don't know about
10
that.
years
It's
down the road.
something we did to make our product better than everybody else's. So it's in our speakerphone and in our mic pods. We have the ability to do that. And I think that kind of concludes it.